Hey tubes. Jonathan was wrong. Truth and budget. I think we're doing the I guess we're doing the undercover cop angle again. Anyway, you know, popping through a few. Let's try that. I was perusing the comment section of the of that you know, where I'm being, you know, some of them are trolls. I think some of them are actually you know, legitimate people that feel how I feel and that they want to educate other people. I have no problem with those people. They're wrong, but you know, they just, you know, they see something that they think is wrong, and it you know, irks them. I understand it. I see it constantly. It's very difficult. So there's a couple things I keep seeing people talk about, you know, space and space travel, blah blah blah. So I just wanted to discuss real quick how everything about space travel is impossible. Were space even real? First and foremost, space is not a place. Space is not real. Above us is heaven. You can they have cameras that are good enough nowadays. The Nikon P900 and P1000, you can get a clear view of the stars and the planets, and you can see what they actually look like, and see that they are not terrestrial things that could ever be landed on. That is a lie. And we now finally have cameras good enough that we can prove it ourselves. The laymen themselves on a clear night can go ahead and capture the stars. I suggest you guys look into it. At some point, I might try to link some videos onto the you know, like pin a comment and link some videos there or whatever. But anyway, we can see what the stars and planets actually look like. So, you know, as far as people trying to, you know, tell me that I'm wrong about what I'm talking about, no, I already know I'm right. Me talking about Polaris is trying to get you guys to, you know, think and realize that the model you've been given is insane and false and falls apart under scrutiny. You guys don't need to tell me how, you know, how you think Polaris works, blah blah blah. I know what Polaris looks like. I know what the stars look like. You don't. I highly suggest you go ahead and you look up what the stars and planets actually look like. It's fascinating. They're beautiful. You know those frequency experiments that they do with, you know, with different, you know, vibrational frequencies and water and stuff? That's basically what the stars look like. They look like some sort of like electromagnetic pulsing light, you know, within a bubble within water. It's beautiful. It's very interesting. Above us is water. That's in the Bible. The firmament separates the waters above from the waters below. Above us is water. What kind of water? How it works? How everything operates? No idea. Don't know. Not gonna sit here and pretend like I do. Does the fact that I don't know what outside of Earth is, you know, discredit anything else? Of course not. That's something I want to touch on real quick as well. The fact that there are some questions I can't answer doesn't 100% discredit me. That's insane. Your current scientific model cannot answer many questions, including simple ones such as gravity, which I've already addressed. Gravity is buoyancy. That's up, that's down. If something is denser than its surrounding area, it falls. That's it. You know, go ahead and listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson try to describe gravity, and he's like, oh, it's like the bending of space and derp and a bunch of nonsense that doesn't make sense, because it doesn't, because it is nonsense. They're doing tree work here or something. Not taking this way back. But anyway, let's get on to the logistics of space travel. So, if you were somehow able, like, if were space actually a thing, were it a real thing, you would not be able to traverse it. First and foremost, you cannot triangulate. If you had a destination, you would not be able to reach it because everything's spinning. You're spinning, the object is traveling away from you in some orbit that is different, than your orbit. The speed's different, everything's different. You would have to account for all of this with 100% accuracy. I stress 100%. If you were traveling through space and you were off by literally 0.00001% in a three-dimensional space where you are traveling a great distance, if you're off by a small amount, you will end up way off. You will end up way off course. And then you will not know where you are because you won't be able to triangulate anything because everything is moving. Were everything moving, you would never know where you were. Sailors use the stars because the stars are always in the same place. Gee, I wonder why that is. I wonder why the stars haven't moved in thousands of years. But anyway, you need to use things that are there to triangulate. If everything's moving, you can't triangulate. So this whole thing about how they flew out to Pluto, no problems. They got to Pluto, no problems. They stopped, no problems, and are sending back information. All right, the distance they say Pluto is away, it would take what, like light, like 5 years to reach or something. Now, if nothing travels faster than light, how are they sending information to the Pluto probe back and forth within the course of months? All right, if nothing travels faster than light, how are they communicating with the Pluto probe? It would take 10 years for a relay. If the relay were traveling at the speed of light, which it would not be. So anyway, as far as figuring out where you were and how to get where you're going within a three-dimensional vacuum, it is impossible. Now, let's talk about hull dynamics. The hull of a ship must be able to withstand the pressure, that it's of the atmosphere that it's going into. Now, a submarine has to have a hull strong enough to repel the pressure of the ocean. If the hull is breached, it's bad news bears. If you're deep under the ocean, think about those little deep sea exploration probes. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. I'll call him back in a moment. Okay, so those deep sea exploration probes are tiny, and if anything goes wrong whatsoever, they're crushed, and you can't have any breach in the hull whatsoever. Now that's just within the ocean. Now space is an infinite vacuum, so they say. Now, the hull of the ship would have to be strong enough to withstand infinite pull. You understand that, right? A spaceship would have to be able to withstand infinity pulling on it, because atmospheres are going to seek to regulate. the lesser atmosphere is going to seek to be like the greater atmosphere. Just, you know, what happens in airplanes, what happens in, underwater craft. That's why they separate them. That's why there has to be a seal, and that's why when that seal is broken, it's chaos. Well, for a brief moment, and then, everything regulates. But if you open up an airplane while you're up in the sky, it's not great. If you open up a submarine while you're under the ocean, even if everyone were in a wetsuit and good to go, you would be crushed. If there's just, it's not. So you would have to build a ship that could withstand infinite pressure, and if you've seen any of that crap, it's got like gold foil and stuff on it. It's made out of foil. It's ridiculous. They got windows all over it. No. So it's logistically and physically impossible. Now I'm going to talk about something again real quick, and then I got to go. But anyway, once again, it's a vacuum. So there's no way to produce thrust. You can't push off of anything. Once again, if you were even able to get into space, you wouldn't be able to control your movements. You would be at the mercy of whatever gravitational forces were whipping you around. Other than the fact that, like I said, you can't push off of nothing. Basic physics. How's a rocket going to travel within a vacuum if the exhaust isn't pushing off of anything? And it's not pushing off the cone because it's not a it's just not. It still needs to travel through stuff. That's the thing, man. People can't wrap their head around these concepts, and they just memorize what they're told, and then they repeat what they're told without having ever had thought about it. So what I want you guys to do is actually think about this stuff. Look into how like deep sea exploration crafts, what specs those have to be built at, and the fact that spacecraft are not built to the same specs. And look into the Pluto probe thing. That thing's complete nonsense. I think they stopped talking about it because it was like, just so obviously nonsense. But anyway, like I said, real quick, I might elaborate on some of this later. Just something I was thinking about. But love you guys. Have a beautiful day, and God bless you.